Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 283 based on novel. So let's start. Bai Wei looked at the restriction above the valley and said, "My name is Bai Wei. Brother Wang, you coming here means you must have understood the meaning behind my words." Wang Lin frowned. Not only was the yin energy still inside Bai Wei's body, it was extremely strong. In fact, it had already reached an unimaginable degree. This dense yin energy shouldn't appear inside a cultivator's body. It was strong enough to almost become solid. With Bai Wei's cultivation level, his body shouldn't be able to bear this kind of yin energy. He should have already lost all vital signs and become a corpse. Wang Lin calmly and slowly said, "The white tree blooms, black and white reverse." I did understand some of what Brother Bai said. Bai Wei let out a sigh and revealed a wry smile. After a moment of silence, he said, "I still can't out-scheme Master. I thought I had 3 more months before the real danger. Within those 3 months, I thought I could get Brother Wang to help me. I had a 20% chance of escaping, but unfortunately, I still failed to escape from Master's plan." Wang Lin frowned but didn't speak. "Brother Wang, I originally didn't think you would find me this quick and was prepared to give you a hint tomorrow, but there is no need for that now. Right now is when Master is in closed-door cultivation. Once he comes out, he will notice the anomaly and come here. Before Master arrives, is Brother Wang willing to hear a story?" Bai Wei revealed a bitter smile as confusion and reminiscence filled his eyes. "I was born in a rich mortal family on planet Chenhu. Right before I was born, the sky was filled with a red glow, and then after I was born, it disappeared. It wasn't until after I entered the cultivation world that I learned that the red light was true yang, and if you calculate my time of birth, it was during a moment of extreme yang. It was an extremely rare day that only happens once every thousands of years. I went back and searched. Every single child born that day had died in their mother's wombs besides me. If it was a boy, they would at least leave behind a corpse. However, if it was a girl, then they would dissipate, leaving nothing behind." Pain filled Bai Wei's eyes as he looked ahead. It was as if he was recalling something he didn't want to remember. "I had a sister. We were twins. When the extreme yang reaches its peak, there is a moment of extreme yin. I was born just as it was about to turn to extreme yin. Although my little sister dissipated, she absorbed a bit of that extreme yin. Her flesh was gone, but her soul entered my body. Originally, everything was peaceful and little sister's soul had not awakened, she remained asleep. If things remained like this, then none of this would have happened. When I was 7, I was brought into the Heavenly Fate sect. My talent was very good and I cultivated very fast. I soon stood out among the outer disciples and became an inner disciple. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of years passed and I reached the soul transformation stage. I also obtained the chance to step out among the inner disciples and became one of Master's direct disciples in the Purple Division. As my cultivation level increased, I gradually noticed how I was different. I also found out that half of my soul belongs to my little sister and that her soul was showing signs of awakening. My original plan was to ask Master to help separate her soul and let her enter the reincarnation cycle after she awakened." Bai Wei let out a bitter sigh, but soon his expression became ferocious and he clenched his teeth. "I'll never forget that day. I was cultivating and my little sister's soul was about to awaken. Then Zhao Xingshao suddenly appeared before me with a cultivation level far above mine and injured me. This caused my little sister's soul to further integrate with mine when she was about to awaken. This forced me into that miserable situation where I was not male or female." Monstrous hatred filled Bai Wei's eyes. In desperation, I looked for Master for help, and Master gave me the Celestial Double Desire method. He said that once I cultivate to the 9th level, my sister and I will separate. I had never thought that Master would lie to me. Thanks to the Celestial Double Desire method, my cultivation expectedly increased leaps and bounds. This method focused on the soul and had great influence on my growth. However, I didn't care about it. All I wanted was to allow my little sister's soul to return into the reincarnation cycle one day. In a flash, hundreds of years passed. This was also when you left planet Chenhu. When I found out that something was wrong, it was too late. Bai Wei's eyes filled with sadness and he tore his shirt, exposing his chest. There was a green line and a red line extending from each of his arms, and the two lines intersect in the middle as if they were tree branches. See this? This is the mysterious thing that appeared on my body after cultivating the celestial double desire method. All the meridians in my body changed after cultivating the yin and yang double desire method. At this moment, pain filled Bai Wei's face. The yin energy inside his body moved and that strange mark appeared once more. Every time I talk about it, this mark activates and the yin energy inside my body increases greatly. The yin and yang double desire method cultivates on its own, outside of my control. I also know that the extreme yang change was done by Master. He used his spell to cause an extremely rare extreme yang day to occur. All of this was part of his plan. As I stayed in the Heavenly Fate sect, I gradually understood. Master's cultivation has reached a bottleneck. He is unable to escape and has been possessed by this inner demon. I am merely one of his experiments. I know that Master is waiting for the extreme yin to reach its peak. Just like how the day of extreme yang had that instant of extreme yin, he is waiting for that moment of extreme yang from the extreme yin in my body. I also know that Master has attempted this extreme yang tragedy several times before and after me. However, in the end, I think I'm the only one who survived. It was as if Wang Lin was struck by lightning when he heard Bai Wei's words. He gasped and shock filled his eyes. What exactly is this extreme yin and extreme yang that made the Allseer go through all of this to get it? Wang Lin looked at Bai Wei. Based on his intuition, he believed 70% of what Bai Wei said. Bai Wei's face revealed an ferocious expression and he laughed. Wang Lin, my plan failed, and I simply can't compare to Master. He must know that I knew everything all along. I'm merely an ant before him, and no matter how much an ant struggles, I'm unable to reverse fate. However, this experiment of his, will do something to shock him. I don't believe he can clearly foresee this idea that suddenly appeared in my head. Wang Lin, I know my own situation better than anyone else, it is impossible to save me. However, before I die, I want to take this extreme yang that has been cultivating for thousands of years, the thing that the Allseer has been waiting for, and give it to you. Wang Lin, do you dare to take it? Bai Wei looked at Wang Lin, and his voice echoed into the valley. The same words appeared all over the valley and entered Wang Lin's ears like bolts of thunder. Do you dare to take it? Wang Lin silently pondered. He couldn't help but ponder. He didn't know what it was, but if the Allseer cared so much about it, then it had to be important to the Allseer. If he were to take it now, he would definitely face the anger of the Allseer. Time is almost up, Master will come any time. Wang Lin, give me an answer. Do you dare or not? Bai Wei waited for a moment and revealed a look of disappointment. He wryly smiled as he shook his head and muttered, could Master have calculated all of this as well? Did he calculate that even if I were to offer it to you, you wouldn't accept? And even if you did, you would give it back to him? Master, have you really never calculated wrong in all these countless years? I don't believe it, I don't believe it. I don't believe you have never been wrong once in your life. When Bai Wei's words entered Wang Lin's ears, Wang Lin's eyes started to shine brightly. To never predict anything wrong and to always be right, that is the perfect Allseer. An Allseer like this has no weakness. If anyone wants to fight him, then before fighting, they are already at a disadvantage. But, if you make him calculate wrong, then what would happen? Wang Lin's heart rate rapidly increased. The Allseer calculated that I wouldn't dare to take it. If I take it, he will definitely have the intent to kill me. This intent won't be suppressed and he will attempt to kill me on the spot. His foresight is shocking, everything is within his calculations. To take it or not to take it? Wang Lin's eyes were filled with struggle. He had always acted decisively and rarely hesitated, but right now he had to hesitate. After all, taking it meant he would be pushed into a predicament that would be difficult to survive. But if Wang Lin didn't take it, he knew the perception that the Allseer could never be wrong would be imprinted in his mind. Although he had never faced off against the Allseer in a battle, this could be considered a confrontation between them. If he didn't take it, then his confidence against the Allseer once he has to face him will fall greatly. No matter what Wang Lin did, he would have to wonder if it was also all within the Allseer's calculations. If he did this, his Tao heart would become timid. What need was there to talk about karma comprehension, source origin energy, or walking down the path of Tao? His cultivation would stop and forever live under the shadow of the Allseer's omnipotent foresight. I'm a heaven-defying cultivator. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he thought about how he defied the heavens in the demon spirit land. How could a mere Allseer compare to the heavens? Bai Wei has no good intentions. Before dying, he wants to drag me into challenging the Allseer with him. He wants to see the Allseer wrong about someone before he dies. Wang Lin's eyes became cold, then he slowly said, "Why would I not dare?" There was a ray of light flying through space outside of planet Chenhu. There was a purple-robed man inside the ray of light, and his face was filled with arrogance. I wonder what little Lin's cultivation level is now. Damn it, I didn't think those women at Planet Phone 1 would be so powerful. They bullied me because I had no brother to help me. I'm going to find little Lin and properly deal with those little girls. Bai Wei's eyes narrowed, then he looked at Wang Lin and nodded. He remained silent. As time was almost up, Bai Wei took a deep breath and took a meaningful look at the world around him. Finally, his gaze looked to the east as if he saw his hometown. His eyes revealed sadness as he slowly closed them. The moment he closed his eyes, the extremely dense yin energy increased drastically. This increase was terrifying. In this instant, all of the withered vegetation exploded into dust. Crackling sounds could be heard and ice appeared around the walls of the valley. A heavenly yin energy came out from his body and a vortex formed above his head. This vortex was formed by yin energy, and it grew larger as it rotated. The yin energy roared. Wang Lin's eyes were like lightning as he silently looked at Bai Wei. The vortex rotated faster and faster until it formed a storm. The entire valley was covered in ice. Even the withered vegetation was all frozen. Although the restriction at the mouth of the valley was subtle, now it shattered. If you looked at the valley from outside, you could see the rain falling now. Lightning would occasionally strike down as if the heavens were angry, causing thunderous rumbles. Large amounts of water poured down and gathered into puddles. As the rain continued to fall, endless ripples appeared in the puddles. However, in this rainstorm, this valley seemed to be cut off from the outside. It was as if there was an invisible cover blocking out all the rain. The rain was stopped outside the valley and flowed down along this cover. As the rain became stronger and stronger, you could vaguely see an arc of ghostly light above the valley. This ghostly light was the rain making the barrier around the valley visible. At this moment, as the yin energy inside valley became stronger and stronger, not even the cover was able to withstand it anymore. A crack opened up in this cover. The moment this crack appeared, yin energy came out. Although it was invisible, it caused a series of heaven-shaking crackling sounds. Before the rain could fall into the crack that appeared on the cover, it was turned into ice by the yin energy. As the yin energy rose up into the sky, an extremely strange scene unfolded. Wherever the yin energy passed through, all the raindrops were frozen. From a distance, it looked like a string of pearls that shined brightly whenever lightning flashed across the sky. This didn't end here. More and more cracks appeared on the cover. Every crack that appeared allowed more yin energy to escape. As the yin energy rushed out, even more rain got turned to ice. A moment later, the cover shattered into pieces. When the cover shattered, large amounts of yin energy spread out across the land. At this instant, every raindrop around them turned into ice with the valley as the center. In just a few breaths of time, all of the raindrops had turned to ice. Wang Lin's eyes released a strange light. This yin energy was very powerful. Even with his ancient god body, he found it a bit unbearable and couldn't help but retreat a few steps. Sitting before Wang Lin, Bai Wei's hair moved without any wind. His clothes gave off flapping sounds as if it was being hit by wind. The yin energy in his body reached a peak and his body was rapidly covered by dark blue ice. In the blink of an eye, the dark blue ice covered him completely. Then it condensed between his eyebrows, transformed into thorns, and pointed between his eyebrows. A strange mark appeared between Bai Wei's eyebrows. This mark was the same one that Wang Lin saw that was formed by the movement of yin energy inside Bai Wei. At this moment, this mark flashed a ghostly light. Every time it flashed, Bai Wei would reveal a painful expression and some of the yin energy in his body would be sucked in by it. Every time it flashed, the dark blue ice around Bai Wei became thicker. His body slowly assimilated with the ice until they became a part of each other. As the mark flashed more and more, even more yin energy was absorbed into it. Soon, the last bit of yin energy was absorbed by the mark. His body trembled and everything from his neck and below became ice. The mark between his eyebrows had turned blackish purple, and the yin energy within it was shocking. The indescribable pain made Bai Wei let out the last roar in his life. This roar was filled with his dissatisfaction, his hatred for the Allseer, his sadness and helplessness, and all of his struggles against fate. Also there was also a glimmer of relief. Wang Lin seemed to be impacted by this roar. His expression became complex and he took a few more steps back. He could understand Bai Wei's thoughts. It was a sworn defiance, a rebellion against the Allseer. It could be said that this was a type of defiance. Bai Wei's roar spread like crazy across tens of thousands of kilometers. However, his roar was drowned out by the heavy rain and violent thunder. Allseer, I exchange my life for you to be wrong once. I, Bai Wei, will laugh in the underworld. I'm willing to trade this worthless life of mine to make the Allseer wrong once. As Bai Wei laughed like crazy, the mark that contained all his yin energy went through a strange change. The endless yin energy was condensed repeatedly as the vortex rotated, and a thunderous roar came from within it. In an instant, the vortex formed by the mark reached an extreme, and a golden light appeared in the depths of the vortex. All the yin energy gathered toward it like crazy. In an instant, all of the yin energy disappeared, leaving being a shining, golden dot that floated toward Wang Lin. Bai Wei's body was motionless. He had almost lost all of life force and turned into an ice sculpture with a ferocious expression. An eternal ice sculpture. This ice sculpture gave off a powerful aura of defiance and unwillingness to be controlled by fate. The golden dot floated toward Wang Lin. He could feel a powerful vitality and extreme heat from this dot. A sliver of extreme yang. Wang Lin raised his right hand and reached toward this golden dot. At this moment, all of the ice inside the valley melted rapidly, and soon it was all melted. Green grass quickly regrew and soon this valley was in spring. Outside the valley, all of the raindrops that were frozen melted and quickly fell. All of the changes that were caused by the yin energy returned to normal. The moment Wang Lin's hand touched the extreme yang, time was up. There was a mountain in the heavenly fate sect that was very strange. It looked like a giant trident that was buried underground, and the only thing that remained above ground were the 3 tips. Rings of 7 different colors gave off bursts of light. The celestial spiritual energy that filled the area made it look like the celestial realm. The Allseer was sitting at the tip of the middle mountain peak. He wore white and his white hair moved with the wind. Although he was old, it didn't feel like he was decaying. Instead, it was as if he had become a celestial. The moment the time was up, he opened his eyes. The moment he opened his eyes, there were large amounts of clouds passing by. What was even more shocking was that the sun and moon reversed in his eyes while the clouds rapidly changed. It was as if time itself existed within the Allseer's eyes. He calmly looked at the earth. After a long time, he let out a sigh. Everyone pursues longevity, to live as long as the world. However, how many people know what this longevity counts as? To live as long as the world. The world has always existed, so who would dare to say they were as old as the world? What they pursue is only an illusion, and this is the vision of an ant. I, Allseer, don't seek to live as long as the world. I want my fate to become the heavens' fate. I want my will to become the heavens' will. I want the heavens' Tao to merge with my Tao. The Allseer's gaze fell into the direction of the distant Ghost Eye City. There was strange light in his eyes and he muttered, "Wang Lin, you dare." He didn't move, he only raised his right hand. His index finger casually pointed forward. At this instant, a storm was set off just outside of planet Chenhu. There was a loud rumble and endless origin energy of the world gathered. All of the origin energy from within tens of thousands of kilometers seemed to have received a call and gathered like crazy. In almost an instant, a giant finger appeared outside planet Chenhu. This finger was 10,000 feet long and 1,000 feet wide. It was transparent, as if it was an ethereal existence. Endless origin energy gathered at the finger at an unimaginable speed. It was so fast, it was beyond imagination. It was as if this finger was an endless black hole that sucked in all the origin energy. In an instant, this finger went from ethereal to almost solid, even the fingerprint was clearly visible. The marks on the finger were like mountains and gorges. It slowly descended toward planet Chenhu. This finger was too big, but it wasn't the finger of an ancient god. It was a spell the Allseer had created on his own. One finger to pierce the heavenly fate. The Allseer was a member of the Alliance's elder group, so he naturally knew powerful spells. It has to be said that back when the Allseer was at his peak, even esteemed Xian Bao was extremely fearful of him and didn't dare to carelessly offend the Allseer. Although the Allseer wasn't the most powerful in the Alliance's elder group, even the stronger members of the group didn't want to get on the Allseer's bad side. All of this indirectly explains how powerful the Allseer was. However, the Allseer was very low-key and not many outsiders knew of him. At this moment, the finger that formed outside planet Chenhu slowly pressed down on the planet. Although it looked slow, it was extremely fast. A heaven-shaking pressure roared across the sky. The cultivators on planet Chenhu felt a terrifying majesty descend the world. Because there was too much origin energy gathered before the finger, an arc appeared before the finger, and it touched planet Chenhu first. The entire planet seemed to shake and a huge wave was set off in the atmosphere as if there was powerful force moving within it. This origin energy arrived before the finger. It even caused some of the planet to collapse and everything to become twisted. A thunderous rumble echoed across the world when the finger landed on the atmosphere. The atmosphere immediately collapsed and 7 colored light spread across the area. A crack was opened by force by the finger. This crack was still expanding, and it caused the weather to suddenly change. Looking from the ground up at the sky, it was as if the finger had pierced a hole in the heavens and slowly descended. It was pointed at the valley thousands of kilometers outside Ghost Eye City. Before the finger fell, an unimaginable pressure descended and the earth crackled. The expressions of all the cultivators who thought they had achieved something changed, and none of them dared to fly over to look. When the powerful pressure spread out, their minds trembled. A feeling that the heavens and earth would be destroyed arose from the bottom of their hearts. Originally, rain covered the sky above Ghost Eye City and the thunder rumbles echoed endlessly. However, at this moment, as the giant finger descended, all the clouds were pushed away. It was like a curtain at the doorway that was pulled apart. Even the might of the heavens seemed to have to make way for the point of this finger. A thick, dark cloud didn't dodge fast enough and was touched by the ripples before the finger. It exploded in an instant and brightened up the sky with a large amount of lightning. These lightning bolts moved along with these ripples and diffused across the sky. They formed a very bright and unforgettably gorgeous scene in everyone's eyes. Violent thunder echoed across the sky. As the giant finger descended, it was as if the sky was going to collapse. Wang Lin stood inside the valley and looked at the finger slowly descending from the sky with a gloomy expression. He could clearly feel the aura coming from the finger. It was the Allseer. What kind of spell is this? Wang Lin held the extreme yang in his hand. The moment it fell into his hand, he felt the heaven-defying bead inside his origin soul tremble. With no time to think about the change to the heaven-defying bead, Wang Lin put the extreme yang into his bag and then stared at the giant finger descending from the sky. This finger was too big. It gave off a 7-colored glow and caused the heavens and earth to tremble endlessly. Cracks appeared in space as it descended toward Wang Lin. An unimaginable pressure descended from the sky and gathered around Wang Lin. The Allseer. Wang Lin frowned with a gloomy expression. Then his right hand touched his bag and an item appeared in his hand. This was something Qing Shui gave him, crystal to use summon the rain. Back then, Ling Chenhu said that there were 3 uses of summon the rain sealed inside. The summon the rain cast by Ling Chenhu would not be ordinary. Wang Lin had not used it yet, so he could keep it as an ace to keep himself alive. However, this was the time to use it. The giant thing that slowly descended and charged toward Wang Lin. A loud rumble echoed, and the pressure from its descent caused the earth to shatter once more. Even Ghost Eye City was affected. Large sections of its walls fell and cries came from the city. At this moment, there was a planet far away from planet Chenhu, but it was still within the influence of planet Chenhu. It was a cultivation planet called Da Lu. There was only one sect on this planet, and this sect was called the Da Lu Sword Sect. The Da Lu Sword Sect occupied a large part of the planet and covered hundreds of thousands of kilometers. It was far larger than the Heavenly Fate Sect. Ling Chenhu was willing to pay the price when setting up the Da Lu Sword Sect, so its scale was extremely large. Mountains filled with spiritual energy were everywhere in the Da Lu Sword Sect. There were numerous pavilions and there were monumental towers at every certain amount of distance. There were a total of 999 towers. It was as if they were set up to form a giant formation. There was a tower among them that was very unique in both appearance and height. This tower was extremely tall, at least 10 times the height of the other towers. Its height seemed to pierce into the sky. Even if you were very far, you could still feel the colossal pressure of this tower. At the top of this tower sat the sword saint Ling Chenhu. The 4 origin swords flashed as they formed a mouth and rotated around him. Fierce sword intent spread out from the tower, causing planet Da Lu to be filled with shocking sword intent. Interesting. Interesting. Ling Chenhu suddenly opened his eyes, and there was a flash of coldness within them. There was a smile on his face. How many times has the teacher betrayed the student? This old man loves watching these moments of the Allseer the most. However, this Wang Lin is a member of the Vermilion Bird series. Even the elders of the Alliance have to ponder when acting against a member of the Vermilion Bird series. After all, no one is willing to provoke the former overlord of the brilliant Void Star system, the 4 Divine Sect. Forget it. Wang Lin, if you can withstand one spell from and not die, this old man will help you. Ling Chenhu smiled. His favorite thing to do was cause trouble for the Allseer. This video will end here.